What is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, Golden Kamuy, actually had one of its more up, like, up-tempoed episodes instead of just, like, eating and learning more about certain people. This episode went straight into some crazy stuff from the last episodes where these guys were, eating, I think it was the otter that did that to them. Which I need to order a whole freaking pound of otter so I can eat that with the lover of mine. um, but from what all we get to see is the hot spring and supposedly where they end up is pretty much being ran by a blind man who kind of already knew of the blind bandits' tactics and how they can get around and how they can see so well at night. And if you haven't seen my last video, in the end of the previous episode, some guys were out on their horses. One guy was pulling the horse, the other guy was just riding it, and somehow this guy shoots out the fire from being all the way in the dark perfectly, and then shoots the guy in the head perfectly, and he couldn't see any of them. Um, so it turned out to that they were blind bandits, and because they are blind and because they use their tongues against the roof of their mouth and they click, and because of that, it would echo, and that is how they can see you perfectly fine. And for some reason, they didn't really seem like bad people. I feel like the guy with the tattoos was definitely like a bad guy, or at least he's gone down a much darker path than the people he was helping out. But all of these people he was supposedly helping out were all blind and for some reason didn't have a gun. They didn't have a weapon, but they could see almost as good as him, if not the same, whenever they did that, and they ran up on everybody with like weapons to hold people down. So maybe they were the ones that were supposed to hold the kids down to make sure they weren't getting shot, because the only other times that these blind men like hesitate not to fight at all, even when they have clear shots, or I guess not a clear shot, but when they have a clear advantage is what I wanted to say. Um, they don't, because they don't want to kill kids, and it kind of comes back to what the immortal was trying to say to the blind old man is, sooner or later you're going to kill innocents, and when you do, it's already too late for you now, and sooner or later you're going to do something worse than you even imagine while you're, because these blind people in this day and age, no one knows that being blind is like the worst thing ever, and if they had it happen to them, they wouldn't, probably even be able to make it that long in the world. These guys were starving and still finding out a way to try to feed each other and take care of each other through any means necessary. And lesser people would break just knowing that they can't see and stuff like that. And mind you, their eyesight, well, his eyesight anyway, the tattoo guy, his eyesight was taken away for going to the prison and working on sulfur mines, and it got into his eyes, and supposedly you have up to like 6 months until you lose all functionality in your eyes. So it was really sad to hear that that is how it went down, and it almost makes sense why he's doing what he's doing, and has, like, maybe he does have some types of feelings, seeing how he doesn't like to kill kids or even put kids in the line of sight of his gun. So it's just hard to expect something good from these people when they're so far gone, and not to mention they are all prisoners from one point. So it puts into perspective just how gray this show is. There's not really a good guy or a bad guy. It's just the people we got. And with that being said, I have a good feeling that we're probably going to see more of us learning about just how gray some of these things are that we're looking at without being able to fully comprehend both sides. And from now on, it seems like our perspective is really on learning how disgusting these other guys are. The government, and pretty much learning that we are watching the better people. Um, and just by knowing that we're watching like at least a little bit better people than the ones that, you know, are in the government and have the most power and stuff like that, it's crazy to see these guys like actually having moral codes and not wanting to do wrong by certain people, even though they have been maybe done wrong and unjustified by being sent to the prisons that they were being sent to, and maybe they weren't serving a life sentence, and somehow he still loses his eyesight for just whatever crime he committed. I thought that was a pretty sad way of just learning that all of these people could have been done quite dirty, and the guy who owns the whole entire place is the one who hired, his own person to bring out some guards and straight up let the guards kill someone who they suspected was a traitor in their own ranks, you know. Um, so these people are about as hardcore, if not more hardcore, than the people that are on the run and supposedly evil. And the other thing that was really cool was seeing the picture of the very old man when he was like a fresh kid, and to hear that the blind man, felt the same presence from the immortal, and that man was absolutely crazy. Just the similarities of someone being like, I thought it was him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was going to fight the demon that I never wanted to fight again. Oh, sorry. I think my mic was going low. I thought it was crazy seeing the picture of the old man that's kind of the leader of all this looking very young, and knowing that the blind guy felt the same presence from the immortal was absolutely crazy. To give the immortal such a like boost on just like how crazy he could possibly turn out to be in the sense of some battles that can come up. Because now with the government showing us the corruption and showing us that we really shouldn't even care. I mean, almost like the seventh unit is a better one than the people that are holding the main prisoner that we want to talk to, who's the Huntress's dad. That's how crazy the show is getting to me, and I never expected something that unique to be going down. But with them going in this direction, I can't help but to enjoy it now. Not only that, we're getting more and more people that just are very misunderstood, and then we have some people that are just crazy. Like the guy who actually kept his gun during the spa, Oda or Orta or whatever his name is, one of my favorite characters, even though he's a huge like ass. um, he keeps his gun there and knows he has like 5 shots, and just by him getting a little bit of light by one of the blind men sneaking up on the huntress, he could see him fine enough to hit a headshot instantly, man. He is so dirty. But we also know that that old man would have never actually did anything bad to the kids just by their experience of showing us what they already would have done when they had the shot on all of them surrounded in the hot tub, and there was a kid in there, so they're like, kid, get out, and then we'll take the shot. Like, we're not gonna do you like this. So really interesting episode on that part. We end up chasing them in their own home and pretty much subduing them. I think one more died. I think like 3 of the blind men died. None of our people died. The immortal got shot. 2 people on our team like got shot. One passed through his butt cheek, so he's okay. And then the other was the immortal, and he's fine. But it was really cool to get another comparison of what what's her face actually thinks about the immortal and what she believes could possibly come next for him, including when it comes down to death, because to her, death isn't really something that, dang, two plates. Death isn't something that she's really like broken up about. It's something more of like she hopes everybody gets it because it's a relief. It takes you somewhere that only ecstasy can explain how great it is. That's her belief. So for her to see the immortal like the way he is, and knowing that he might not be able to return back to normal and stuff like that, it's very hard and evident that once someone else tells him that, that's kind of acting the same way as he would, he kind of takes that in. He's kind of like, oh man, like this was easily could have been me at any time. And it must be rough just knowing that. And I honestly love how this show portrays all this stuff. It feels very fresh, and like in this time and era, it's rarely really hardcore. Like in certain things that happen to you, you're pretty much either dead or very close to dead, where the whole group needs to like take care of you to bring you back up to speed on being okay. So Golden Kamuy has been doing very, very well in my opinion, and I really hope more and more people actually give it a chance, seeing how it's on its second season, and I think the second season is close to over. I don't think they announced that it's any more than 12 episodes, so if Golden Kamuy is something that you've been putting on the fence, it is almost close to done. So just by watching it now, um, you could get a whole first season and almost a whole nother season as of now. So those people are pretty lucky, seeing how I gotta wait to see what the heck happens next. And with Golden Kamuy, I think it's doing one of the more entertaining things where it kind of doesn't like to dwell on these other characters that are introduced, in the sense of they don't like to waste a whole two episodes just to kill people, like a certain like person. I feel like they did that almost once, and it never happened again like that. And it was like a really weird, freaky guy who wanted to die by the immortal and all this crazy stuff, but it felt like it was dragging on for someone that wasn't going to make it further. But this man, this blind man, being someone with dang near like a super ability at nighttime and pretty much not very good in the daytime. I mean, for instance, he's a prisoner, so he has a little bit more experience probably of fighting for his life and running away during different situations and stuff like that, compared to the people who were probably just blind, like farmers or maybe even just coal miners that or sulfur miners that weren't in prison, and they were just working for their families and stuff like that. So I don't. It just feel like the other people the prisoner was working with, they weren't evil, like they weren't corrupted like he was. So, and that's just my opinion. They could have been just as bad. I don't know. Um, and they just didn't have more than one gun, and they just got around by using one. But at the end of the day, I feel like if this show can continue this pace of giving us new characters, giving us exciting moments, all these different things continuously, um, we're dead. Dang it. We're gonna be in for a pretty nice like ride overall, because I never thought that Golden Kamuy was gonna be going in such like different directions as it is, and because of it, I honestly think that everybody should um, watch out for any shows that might, try to take this trend that Golden Kamuy went with a bit and run with it, in their own types of ways. So that is always something I notice with these new animes. If they do something right, other animes will find a way to incorporate it in small or big ways. So I want to see if Golden Kamuy can do that and continue to shock me, in the sense of I might want to see these things pop off in other animes, or even the era that they chose to with the guns, and like just everything is kind of broken up because no one in the government really cares, and it's really cool. um, and let me know what you guys think of this. I have been talking about Golden Kamuy for quite a bit, and I think I got 3 or 4 people to watch it with me, so it's been really fun to see their reactions as well as my own to the show, and just to see if it's not only me who enjoys something like this and can get behind it. I have at least a couple friends that are too. So, with that, everybody, I hope you have a great night, day, morning, evening, whatever the case is. And I will definitely talk to y'all in the next one. I got another monster to fight, but yeah, you guys don't care about that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. I will be dropping the circus tomorrow. If I don't find something interesting to drop tonight, which is already 4 o'clock as I'm making this video, 4:30. So yeah, if I find something, I'll definitely drop it. But if not, I will talk to you guys tomorrow on the circus video that I drop. So with that, everybody, take care yet again, and peace.